What's up, folks? Stu Myrick, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. On the Horn, on YouTube, on Twitch. Pretty much anywhere. Anywhere we can get, anyway. How's everybody doing? Hope you are having a good week. Hope all is well. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the 13 service members that perished in Afghanistan end of last week. Being a veteran myself and blessed enough to not have to see combat, I can only imagine what they're going through. On top of that, all of our prayers and well wishes to everybody in Louisiana, the wake of Hurricane Ida, which just ravaged Louisiana coast, New Orleans and Oma, and those areas there, the destruction, devastation there. Category 4 hurricane. Almost a Category 5. I mean, when it reached land, when it made landfall, it was the winds were 145 miles an hour. So, man, I just, like I said, gotta hope for the best for all those folks. Tonight, we're gonna be kind of laid back. We don't have a lot going on. You got, of course, AEW All Out this Sunday in Chicago, technically Hoffman Estates, which is a suburb of Chicago, at the Now Arena. Used to be called the Sears Center Arena. That's where All In was, and the first All Out. So it should be an interesting card. I don't know that you would say the matches. They're great matches, don't get me wrong, but it's not anything outside of CM Punk and Darby Allin, obviously. That one's a big one for obvious reasons. The rest of it, they'll be good matches. It'll be a good card. I don't know, now it could be a noteworthy event, mainly for who might show up. There are indications that we could see at least one new member of the AEW roster, possibly more. There are hints of Brian Danielson, the American Dragon. He could debut at All Out. It's been talked about that and we'll talk about this on the show, it's been talked about that they wanted him to debut later in September at the Arthur Ashe Stadium show. But with COVID doing what it's doing and everything else, there is at least the rumor and innuendo that they may move that debut up to Sunday. We'll see. There is also speculation that Ruby Soho, the former Ruby Riott, could be debuting in AEW. We've seen the vignettes on her Twitter feed. And so we will see. We'll see who all's there. Making a few notes. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll preview that card. We'll also, of course, recap what we saw from WWE. I would say probably the most notable thing was last night on Raw with Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax. I tend to agree with Brian Alvarez that this was a case of they wanted to do something during the match, but then feelings got hurt. They got into a, as he called it, a kerfluffle, and then they righted the ship. But while they were in the kerfuffle, that was awkward. There were some spots there that looked really stiff. Not just snug, but stiff. So, which you don't expect to see, especially at that level. In between two professionals like Charlotte and Nia, but hey, I guess, I mean, we've seen it like on the independent scene, but and even then it's not very often. It's rare, but anyway. And it sounds like, it was just a miscommunication, and they righted the ship, and oh well. Learn that, lesson learned. So, so we'll see. A few other things happen. Becky Lynch makes her appearance on SmackDown as the new women's champion. You notice who wasn't on SmackDown? Brock Lesnar. Which, this is one of my problems with bringing him in. Look, I get the star power. I get the buzz and everything. I get it. He is an attraction. And I know that WWE has limited dates with him. I think, if you believe the rumor innuendo, they've agreed to 8 dates or 8 matches or whatever. But to have him come out on SummerSlam and then don't follow up with at least one appearance on SmackDown, at least make his intentions clear. I mean, he can make an appearance and then disappear for a couple months until whenever. Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, whatever. So, I don't know. Just, odd decision making. And then there's Justin Simmons wearing his Football International t-shirt. And he's going to take a picture. Apparently, we're going to do a screenshot for the new or the updated graphic. It's not a new graphic.
It's still like a photo for the social media.
Oh yeah, because you've been doing this thing with your social media.
It's been pretty solid.
You're doing it with Wags on the Wagner Wire on Sundays.
I mean, if I'm going to do it for that show, I should do it for this show.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think I would rate at least as decently as Wags. I mean, I love Wags.
I have like...
He's my favorite Marine.
It's like I have like 3 hours, so we have a lot of time.
This is true, yeah.
So it's just like I'm always thinking of things to do. Here it's a little bit more condensed, even with the extra time.
That's true. That's true.
You doing all right, though?
I'm okay. The back has been bothering me the last several days, and I thought I was going to have to be dealing with this, but at least as of right now, I'm doing okay. I'm not hurting too much.
Well, even I have a herniated disc, so I hope that's not what it is.
I hope not either. I think
that it is prevalent in men our age. Surprisingly, even though there's a vast difference in years.
Okay.
It starts at 35.
Right.
I'm 36.
And I have abused my back.
I have as well.
A few times.
I still do.
So how are you?
Tired. Went to the dentist. That took a long time today. I can still feel like the shots in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm a little tired. I mean, obviously with the back pain makes it hard to sleep.
Yeah, that too.
So,
but I've also just tried to push through it personally. Like I like to stay as active as possible. So I've been playing like soccer. Probably shouldn't be, but like,
yeah. Hey,
our team won though. The team never wins. I finally joined
your team. Your team won, huh?
Yeah, like I joined like I don't really know these guys.
So obviously Josh Wolf isn't. I'm sorry, that's just.
You know what's funny though? We won by the same score that they lost by.
Really?
5-3. Yeah.
Really. I just.
Oh, Stu. While you're going through that, I'm going to set up this camera, but I have a question for you.
It's brief soccer talk. Forgive us. My part of my beat is the Austin FC matches.
That match was so good. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was so good. Like I watched it twice.
Did you?
It was really good. But I was gonna say,
fantastic.
what I wanted to get. You can still explain to him what you did, but I'm gonna try to set up this camera for a shot real quick.
Yes, do
but
it.
I was gonna ask you before I forget. Now that you've been to a few games,
Yes.
but you've seen a lot of sports. For a lot of people, this is like really like the first time they've gotten into a sports club or
Right.
team or anything like that.
Right.
Like the big debate on Twitter has been like, how should the fans handle this? You have like a section of people saying like it's okay to boo them. You know, it's like it's like the performance was bad. It was not a good performance by the players, and they know that. And then others are like, no, we got to stay super positive 100% of the time. And I go, I get that too, but you know, I'm always been one of those guys. It's fair to criticize when the criticism is valued.
You know, it's ironically, it's very, very similar to what we see with wrestling. By the way, he mentioned when he's talking about match, got NXT on the TV and Ilya Dragunov, the new NXT United Kingdom champion, there in the CWC, addressing the fans. And so, ironic because, like I said, crowd reaction is has a lot of discussion as well with wrestling. It's hard to man, just that was why don't you leave the pins out and just turn the cup upside down? Will that help? I don't know if it'll help, but hey. Probably can't hurt.
I think the pens is what gave it the weight.
Yeah, it's possible. Okay.
It was the one snafu.
Yeah, it's okay.
WWE trying to write a storyline.
Well,
but the execution.
well, if it was true WWE, they would have, somebody would have ripped it up 40 times and changed it and not have anything done until an hour before the show.
There we go. I got it this time though.
Okay.
Until I did that.
Anyway, so it's all right. Is that there we go? Hey, that was pretty good.
That was it.
There we go.
I mean, I'll show it to you.
I think it's and there's also one other thing to remember.
It looks like you're in pain though.
Yeah.
You want to take a different one?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Unless you want to.
I came out good, but I was like, again, it looks like you're in pain.
No, I'm smiling. I think something else to remember that it is an expansion club, and just like in any other sport, your expectations for the expansion club should be low. The performance on Sunday, Austin FC lost to FC Dallas 5-3. It was actually a 1-1 tie, and then Austin FC absolutely fell down on defense. And before
First time all year,
FC Dallas scored 3 goals in the span of 5 minutes late in the first half, and actually got up to 5-1. Austin FC climbed back with there was the Alex Ring header, and was that Fagundes as well that got a goal to get it 5-3. But anyway, it was just I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I'm a little bit new to the sport.
But you've seen if this was UT, what would be the first thing going through your mind? First week of the season against the Raging Cajuns, they lose like that.
They'll boom out of the building.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but Texas fans are a little more
Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
Eagles fans.
Yeah.
It seems like sports fans in general would kind of a little tough love at this point.
I guess. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to blame anybody for being upset. I'm not going to blame anybody for booing.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. See, that's where I was like, I think it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
But people were upset that people left early, and I'm like, well, hey, it's their money, it's their ticket. They can do what they want.
Very true.
And if they want to display their displeasure, that's a tongue twister. If they want to display their displeasure, by leaving early, so be it.
So be it.
Or if they want to watch the game with their back turned to the field like they do in England, so be it.
Hey, it's look, as long as nobody's getting violent or anything,
Exactly.
then hey, or you're not breaking a law, then hey, by all means, if you said I've had enough of this, I've left games early. I've left games that were they were winning. I've left early.
Well, yeah, beat the traffic.
Like most Longhorn games, if I go down to say tailgate, I'll stay maybe through the first half, and then come home and watch the rest of it. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's not like a short drive.
Well, and
it's not super long,
right.
But
now for Austin FC, it's no big deal. It's 10 minutes. Straight. It's a straight shot down Burnett to Mopac to Palmer. So it's not a big deal. But
yeah, but their whole situation traffic wise still isn't ideal at all.
It's not, but I
mean, you're fortunate that you can park there.
Well, I park and I leave after everybody else because we stay for the press conference.
Wow.
So by the time we're done with that, everybody's gone.
That's true.
So, which I'm used to.
Except for the ones that got stranded.
It's the way it is with Cowboys games. So,
but a 3-hour wait at Cowboy Stadium is like much different than a 3-hour wait here.
Well, it's a bigger crowd.
Yeah, it's definitely expected there.
Yeah,
but
you're dealing with 90,000 instead of 20,000.
Yeah.
So,
and that's just the parking lot.
Yeah. Well,
remember WrestleMania?
Oh, believe me, I understand.
I mean, I was lucky that my crew found a shortcut out of there. Like, we had like a great shortcut that got us right back to a highway. So we were out like in 10 minutes.
Chad and I were parked in. It was because they gave us media parking, so we were parked in lot 10, which is, and I don't know how to explain the orientation. Basically, it's the kind of what would be considered. Well, it's facing Randall Mill. It's the parking lot, kind of to the right of Coach Landry's statue, and it's where the Riders media entrance is.
See, it's all like, you just been there so many times, all this. I'm like,
Yeah.
I might have been there like 3 times in my life, and I'm not really familiar with the surroundings still, because every time I park across the street at some random lot.
For Cowboys games, because I would get a season credential, I always got parking, and they would give me parking passes for one of the parking lots. Usually it's parking lot 4, which was.
Wait, so you're not going this
off
year?
of no, they're still not credentialing radio because of COVID and all that.
Really?
Stuff. Yeah, they're being real picky about that.
Cole Beasley's going to play this year. Come on, that was a good joke
for Buffalo.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
Cole Beasley doesn't play for the Cowboys anymore.
No,
I kind of wish he would.
I mean, but he's like just an
avid
like COVID denier.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's why I was just all like, oh, if he says it's okay, then they should credential you then.
And they cut Garrett Gilbert. I thought
they cut like all the quarterbacks except for Rush.
They cut the one guy that.
I mean, DiNucci was the one that played last year.
I'm glad they got faith in him because
we're gonna get Cam Newton.
Maybe. All right, so let's like I said, we're going to do All Out preview. We'll talk about WWE latest, including Charlotte versus Nia, and got some notes from the NWA's NWA 73 event, as well as New Japan's got some matches. So let's do this thing. Let's fire this thing up and see what kind of radio magic we can create.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or let's just assume poor, this is MJF, and you're listening to the Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons joining you. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for some of that play-by-play college season gets started tomorrow. Or actually, right now as this is airing.
Yeah.
I'm in two places
okay.
at once. I'm doing the Lex Luger tonight.
I get you. Before we begin, a couple of notes. First of all, our hearts, thoughts, prayers, condolences go out to the families of the 13 service members that were killed in Afghanistan late last week and over the weekend. Being a veteran myself, it's hard. It's very hard to know that the family lost a son, a brother, a daughter, in defense of their country. And so again, thoughts and prayers to those families. Also, our hearts go out to everybody in Louisiana in the wake of Hurricane Ida. I watched a lot of that over the weekend. And you had flashbacks because it was making landfall 16 years to the day after Katrina.
Oh yeah, and Katrina was awful.
This was stronger. This was a Cat 4, where Katrina was Cat 3 when it made landfall.
Yeah.
So
right now, I've heard there are stories about people that are just not going to have electricity for weeks.
Yeah, it blew out. The phrase was catastrophic transmitter damage, reported by Entergy, who is the electricity provider for New Orleans and the Orleans parish, plus all the flooding and just destruction. Grand Isle is like a shell of itself. I mean, it's almost wiped out. So again, just prayers up to them as they recover from. Imagine they got hit. Was it 2 hurricanes last year and four tropical storms all together last year? Now here they go with Ida, and there's still quite a bit of time left. So pray we don't get another one. So
well, you might as well send one of those up for the people that have to evacuate Lake Tahoe right now too.
Oh yeah, the fires and everything. Yeah, so
it's just a lot of chaos, kind of.
Hopefully,
on both ends.
Hopefully we can take your mind off. That's one of the beautiful things about professional wrestling. Whatever you feel about it, whatever you feel about whichever company, hopefully at least it can take your mind off of whatever the trouble is, even if it's briefly. So with that in mind, we got a pay-per-view to preview. AEW All Out this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Get it on Bleacher Report. It used to be called Bleacher Report Live. Apparently, Bleacher Report Live is no longer a thing. It's now just Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
That's if you're in the United States. If you're outside the United States, get it on Fight TV. Coming to us from the Now Arena, used to be known as the Sears Center Arena in Hoffman Estates, just outside Chicago. The buy-in. The pre-show will be on 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on AEW's YouTube channel. So we'll go through this card. We'll start with the buy-in pre-show right now has the Women's Casino Battle Royale. I believe the winner gets a shot at the Women's World Title. So far, and we're recording this on Tuesday, so there's probably more names added on Dynamite and Rampage. But so far, participants include Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, Ty Conte, Red Velvet, Big Swole, Penelope Ford, Julia Hart, Allie, Diamante, Jade Cargill, Emi Sakura, Hikaru Shida, and then there will be 9 more TBA. Now,
what's the prize?
One of the, I believe it's a title shot, Women's World Title shot.
Okay.
If you believe, this show. And the whole card, it's a good card. I don't know if it blows you out of the water, but it's a great card. But I think a lot of people are looking at who may be showing up as far as new roster members. And they could tie into this match because if you believe the rumor and innuendo, maybe we see the former Ruby Riott, now Ruby Soho,
okay,
showing up. But
But is that enough to drive the interest? Like,
What do you mean drive the interest? Like, what do you mean?
like,
I don't know.
Like, how much does that move the needle for even you?
It moves it a little bit just because I want to see what she does.
Does that have enough?
New
intrigue?
gimmick, new name.
Because I don't see the gimmick changing, just a new name.
Yeah, it's not. I'm saying not name, new gimmick, but definitely a new name.
But you don't think she'll show up and win?
And everything you hear is, she's a fantastic wrestler.
Oh, definitely.
And even a better performer or better person. But there is some excitement out there for a possible debut. Now, we don't know. We have not heard. There has not been any solid, yes, she's debuting. There's been some vignettes on her Twitter feed, and forgive me, I forget what her Twitter feed is. I could probably find out real quick, but there's been some vignettes, some really good vignettes, but at that, where she does these videos where she's running away and she steals a car and. At Real Ruby Soho. So,
but even then, I would feel that the favorites for this would be Rosa, along with Big Swole, and possibly Jade Cargill.
I definitely think Jade Cargill's safe bet. Yes. I don't know if Thunder Rosa wins this match. She's definitely a contender because they will want to run that back again. Her and Britt Baker. I don't know if you need her to win this match to do that. Big Swole, she hasn't been on enough for me to have strong feelings about whether she could win this one. I'm leaning Jade Cargill. It won't be Nada.
I mean, that's what I'm going with.
I could see Emi Sakura.
Nah, Jade Cargill. I think if they're going to push somebody and give them a big win on a pay-per-view, even if it's the buy-in show, it's going to belong to her.
Well, and the thing is, how much has she advanced since she debuted? Because remember, she debuted as a serious rookie.
Oh, I know.
I think she's had less than 10 matches in AEW.
Yeah, but I mean,
that might be how many matches she's had in her whole career.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, Mike Tyson won the championship in 10 fights.
Yeah, but he trained forever and ever and ever.
He was also
partially
natural.
And Jade's an outstanding athlete, no doubt. So, I don't doubt her.
I mean, we saw Rousey win it in
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. She trained judo and MMA, so I think she would be very exciting and be a definite shakeup.
It would definitely be a shakeup, that's for sure.
And it always seems that's what they're about, those big splashes.
Well, you had Brian Cage win, what was it, Double or Nothing 2020?
Mm-hmm.
He had just debuted. So
yeah,
it could happen.
I guess you're right, too. If Soho does show up, she would definitely have to be a favorite to be in that final part of the show.
Like I said, you have 9 more people. So if Ruby Soho shows up, then you got 8 more. So it'll be interesting to see who the other 8 are. But anyway, as of right now, I'd probably lay odds on Jade Cargill. So the main card looks like this: Paul White, no BS. He's getting back in the ring for the first time in, I think, 2-3 years at least.
I thought it was 4.
Maybe. Facing QT Marshall.
Even with the rust, you would just think that the size dynamics here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bad night for the leader of the factory. I think Paul White is going to choke slam him through the mat, and Solo and the rest of the factory may have to find a way to scrape him off the mechanics under the ring. So
I can see that.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. Jon Moxley. Now, he made a big deal about how he had sent a contract to New Japan Pro Wrestling to have somebody face him at All Out. Mm. wide speculation was it was going to be Tanahashi, who, by the way, is the current IWGP United States champion. However, he gets the contract back, and it is none other than the legendary Satoshi Kojima, IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Tag Champion. He's one of the icons there.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be Kojima and Moxley at All Out. That could be fun. I mean, Moxley will probably go over.
You think so? He doesn't.
Yeah,
have to.
because he went over on Nagata.
I guess that's true, but he doesn't necessarily have to win here either, though.
He doesn't. He didn't have to, but I think he will. I think he will. Just go on the pattern what we've seen so far. So,
I guess if they're really trying to keep that link with New Japan between him and Strong,
yeah.
You kind of convinced me.
Yeah.
I was going to say Kojima probably would actually win.
Kojima will definitely have a great showing, and you wouldn't think otherwise.
But you swayed me, Stu.
Yeah. I think Moxley wins this one. All right. The Bastard Pac taking on Andrade El Idolo. Chavo Guerrero will be in his corner, as well as the translator / paper guy, whoever that is. This is that ongoing story where Andrade is trying to convince Penta and Phoenix that they need to be aligned with him rather than Pac.
Yeah.
So here's that first step. Definitely
would be way more interesting, honestly.
And probably be a little bit more of a natural feel. So for that reason, I'm going Andrade.
Man, I want to stop agreeing with you, but that's what I had already.
Yeah.
And it's just because, I think he'll be, I hate to say this, but at the end of the day, I think he would be the hotter prospect instead of Pac.
Well, I don't know. It's not necessarily a matter of hot prospect. It's simply a matter right now the storyline seems to indicate that that's where they would go.
Yeah,
so.
That's where I'm getting at.
I'm
it's
gonna go,
right place, right time, and right now Andrade's hot, not Bastard Pac.
Chris Jericho against your favorite wrestler MJF. If Jericho loses, he can't wrestle in AEW anymore. I think he pointed this out when he made the stipulation. He pointed this out because my guess is he still wants to wrestle in Japan, and he wants to, storyline, keep that going. He's always talked about he has unfinished business with New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
My guess would be with Naito or with Tanahashi or Okada for that matter. So I don't think Jericho is going to have to worry about it because I think he's going to win this one.
Really?
Yeah. They gave MJF the win in the fifth labor.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking just for the sake of I wouldn't usually accuse AEW of 50-50 booking, but I just get a feeling that they're not going to have MJF go over again unless Jericho wants to get out of the ring for a while.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that maybe he wants to take some time off, and this is one of those you never say never in professional wrestling type deals. Just because they're supposed to leave town, they only leave town for
right. Well, and plus he's going to go tour with Fozzy.
Well, Wrestle Cruise is supposed to come up too.
Wrestle Cruise is coming. He's going to wrestle there. So that's why I'm thinking I got a feeling Jericho's going to go over on this one. By the way, ran into one of his commentary partners for Rampage this past Friday night, Mark Henry.
Yeah, I imagine so.
As his son Jacob saw some time on the field playing defensive line for Lake Travis. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jericho on this one.
No, I'm going to go MJF.
Okay.
And then they'll just figure out a way to let him wrestle when he needs to show back up again. But I think he's going to be filling a commentary spot more so than anything else for a while.
It's possible. For the TNT Championship, God's favorite champion, Miro, the Redeemer, taking on Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, Miro's hot right now, though.
Is he?
For me, yeah, I think he can still get a little bit more of a push, and I think that's the way that most people are seeing it. I know Kingston's a great promo. I know he talks well. I mean, he's just like legit, and a lot of people are fans of that too. But I just think Miro's on the up and up.
I'm torn because I could see this going either way.
Oh, definitely.
Which that's the beauty of this card, as opposed to some other pay-per-views that we talk about. I could see this going either way. I could see Miro winning and continuing on being God's favorite champion, whatever. I could also see Eddie Kingston, get the win. You're going with Miro?
Oh yeah.
Why not? I'm gonna go with Mad King just for the sake of.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a match.
I just think that they're really strong on Miro booking wise.
Yeah.
So I think it just is going to continue here.
They are. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Britt Baker defending against our favorite alien, Chris Statlander.
I mean, I'm glad that she's back after the injury, obviously.
Yeah.
But we all know that Britt Baker's like one of the hottest things going right now.
I don't know that it's time for Chris to be the champ yet. She's going to be. She's a hell of an athlete. She's a hell of a wrestler.
If she didn't get hurt, like early on, I think she would have been champion already. Because she already had like a big appearance and like good presence when they had a really thin roster, and before Britt Baker really caught fire.
Yeah, I agree. I think that makes sense. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, injury's part of the business. It's going to happen. And as I said, I really do believe Chris Statlander is a future world champion. Just because they could do so much with her as a champion, and that'd be so entertaining. But I think right now they're going to keep it on Britt Baker, if for no other reason, just to face whoever wins in the Casino Battle Royale.
I think that would be the optimal storyline.
Young Bucks defending the AEW World Tag Team titles against Penta and Phoenix, the Lucha Brothers.
Ooh, is it time for them to drop the belts now? Because the Lucha Brothers, they've been on a streak. Like they've been on a streak. Every show, and they look great.
I could see a route where they win the titles and end up with Andrade.
Yeah.
Plus, it seems like it's close to time to start having the Elite lose a little bit. Kenny's already dropped the Impact World title.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go Luchas. I think I'm gonna go Lucha Brothers.
See, I underlined it as soon as I saw the sheet because I was like, I really favor them in this match, and maybe it's just because I've been saying the word hot a lot in this first segment, so I was trying not to use it again. But unfortunately, they've been on a hot streak.
They have. They really have. And it's
like they've been on like some of the best matches of the night, like consistently for the past month or so. So I'm like,
which you would expect from those two. It's
but their work got better. Like it got cleaner.
They are getting cleaner. They don't. They're not getting hurt near as much. That was the one thing always scared me when Ray would get in the ring, because you and I have seen it, in person, where he'll make one of these like incredible moves off the top rope and end up hurting something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna lean Lucha Brothers. I think I could see them becoming the new tag champs. So, and that'll start the road to them aligning themselves with Andrade.
Oh, I can definitely see that.
CM Punk, first time in the ring since. What was it, Royal Rumble 2014?
Yeah, I think so.
Facing Darby Allin with Sting in his corner. Every logical fiber of my being says Punk will win. And I'm 95% sure Punk will win. But there is that tiny, tiny, tiny part of me that says Punk wants to help get the young talent over. what better way and then make sure Darby wins? But you're not going to have Punk losing his very first match back after being out of the ring since 2014.
I was going to say, if you're the WWE, you might.
Well, thankfully, this is not the WWE.
But would it feel like that if he does lose?
I think it would be a little bit of a disappointment.
Because this crowd's going to be like I know they like.
It's Chicago.
I know they like Darby Allin, but this is going to be a pro Punk crowd.
Yeah, let's remember they're in Chicago. Well, close anyway.
I mean, this is going to be like.
It's a 20-minute drive.
I mean, you saw the
from
pop
what I recall.
when he arrived.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine him losing on his first match. Now I can see him like this being a long, drawn-out match where he makes Darby look really strong.
Yes, I don't see this being a squash by any stretch. I think this is it's like whoever makes the first mistake type of deal. So,
my curiosity is, it's like, what part is Sting going to play in this? No interference, a little interference.
None. I don't think he'll interfere. I think he'll be the sage, the sage mentor that helps Darby and picks him up when he loses, and they'll get the pose with Sting and Punk in the ring, for the B-roll. So I think that's I don't see Sting playing any part in this. He doesn't interfere unless
this is a face
he's provoked.
So this is one of those faces versus face matches. Okay.
Yeah. He's not going to, now, like when it was Sting and Darby and Moxley against, was it 2.0 and Daniel Garcia? Oh, yeah. He'll get, I'm sorry, Moxley and Kingston and Darby.
Mm.
Yeah, he'll get involved because 2.0 tried to provoke him. And they kept calling him, Jeff Farmer. So, yeah, CM Punk's going to win this one, but Darby is going to come out looking absolutely golden. And then for the AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega defending against Christian Cage. Does lightning strike twice?
Oh, no.
No. It'll be a good match. Christian will get his stuff in, but in the end, one wing angel. Kenny still your AEW World Champion.
It's kind of like, it's really hard to compare it to like something like Undertaker Street, but it does have a long lineage now of where it's like that move, that one wing angel has been overly protected. So the day that somebody kicks out, it's going to be a major day.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that happening on this paper.
Not yet, no. I think we got a little way.
But now that there's the possibility of an Adam Cole arrival, it's like, does that moment get saved for somebody like him? Did they save it for Hangman?
Let's talk about that when we come back. Got to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll finish up our talk on AEW All Out and recap what happened in WWE so far. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Yeah, that'll work because there ain't much. Because we didn't even talk about Daniel Bryan or anything like that.
Yeah, I had just like one more thing to add to it for you, and I want to get your genuine reaction. So
okay.
I don't want to waste it.
Let's just do it now. Twitch homies, as they like to call you on Wrestling Observer Live. Give us a moment. We got to mute you. We'll be right back. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. Wrapping up our discussion of AEW All Out this Sunday on pay-per-view. A couple things we didn't mention, and you mentioned one name. As I mentioned, there's a lot of people thinking this is going to be notable more for who shows up. Now, I can tell you that as of last Friday, Adam Cole is a free agent. And on Britt Baker's Twitter feed, she posted a short little 5-second video where she had her beau, Adam Cole, in the dentist chair. So take that for what you want. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that there is speculation. Now, this debut has long been talked about being scheduled for their show at Arthur Ashe Stadium, the home of the U.S. Open Tennis Tournament. However, because of COVID and how things are going in New York, they're saying that Brian Danielson, the American Dragon, could be showing up in Chicago. Haven't seen anything to that. Haven't heard anything to that. This is simply rumor and innuendo. We'll see.
But Punk did make it pretty clear that, that he
He's
probably
coming
at some point.
Yeah, we just don't know when.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if that wasn't one of those fourth wall breaking week of the nods, I don't know what is,
Yeah, that wasn't.
So let me ask you this.
Ask me.
If, think about it out there to the viewers on Twitch that are watching us live and on the horn that are listening. But if Danielson and Cole don't show up to this pay-per-view, is it a disappointment?
Not to me.
Like one or the other. Not both of them have to be there, but if one of them doesn't show up, because it's just been, that's what everything's been kind of leading towards. Like, oh, there's going to be a big reveal. I know Ruby Soho would be a great addition if she does show up, but the real storyline here is, Cole or Danielson, if not both.
There's some other free agents out there. Ring of Honor is talking about they're going to have 2 recently released talents show up at their Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. I think is next week. I think there's talk that Buddy Matthews, the former Buddy Murphy, has signed with Impact.
I mean, he's a solid hand.
You still got Braun Strowman out there. You still got Bray Wyatt out there. So I would say consider it icing. Consider it gravy. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. If it happens, well, okay, batten down the hatches. But if it doesn't happen yet, don't get upset because it's probably going to happen. So
yeah, because I kind of feel like, this pay-per-view is kind of being built around an appearance of somebody special besides CM Punk wrestling.
Yeah.
Because everything else is just kind of like, okay, that's great. It's gonna be solid because you see who's on the card, but everybody wants to see CM Punk.
Yeah. Yeah. So
like, what does he look like after all these years out of the professional wrestling ring?
True.
What did he add to his game? After the MMA.
Well, yeah, that's
incorporate into his wrestling style.
And that's going to be the thing. Yes, 7 years since he has been in a wrestling ring. Now we know he's been training. There was the picture of him and Malachi Black doing some, I guess it was Muay Thai training. So he's been training. We'll see what happens. WWE. We usually start in chronological order. We go to SmackDown first, but I want to go to Raw first. Did you watch Monday Night Raw?
Yeah. Tried.
Did you see the match with Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax?
Of course.
All right.
It's like one of the better matches of the night. I think so. It was real.
Because okay. I would definitely say it was awkward. And you and I have been at events where things break down, and
that's being kind. Just say talent stops working with each other.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's say that. There was the rumor going around that it was a work shoot. There was a rumor going around that they were planning to do this. I don't think so, because in order to have a worked shoot of any quality, you need to have 2 people that know how to shoot wrestle. Almost, I would say borderline MMA type stuff.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty
Charlotte
impressive.
Charlotte Knight, that was nowhere near any type of like shoot wrestling that I would want to see. That felt more like they had something planned. Someone thought there was a miscommunication, and as Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live, there was a kerfluffle. I like that word. I may have to use that more often. There was a kerfluffle. And you saw some stiff shots. You saw, Charlotte was slapping Nia, and Nia practically dropped Charlotte on her head with that backdrop. But then they eventually got things back on track. Nia gets the pin, leaves the ring. But that was by no means any type of well-executed work shoot. That was more like someone decided, you're not doing something, so I'm going to get you back, and it became really awkward.
And I was down for it because I was impressed with Charlotte's strength to be able to like take down Nia Jax. I mean, come on, she put her got her in the chokehold or whatever, and then she was like starting to break her down, and I'm like, that's quite impressive because it's not like Nia's a small lady. I
mean, it was interesting. I think it was little more than that. It was just it was interesting to see it on national TV in an environment like WWE because we don't see it there.
I know, but we're live, pal.
So, SmackDown.
And if anything, we're talking about it, so at least it made whatever they got going on a little bit more intriguing.
Well, not to mention, maybe that's going to be the world title program going into, I guess it'd be Extreme Rules. Because we thought it was going to be Alexa Bliss.
She didn't even show up on Raw.
She wasn't even on Raw.
Thankfully, she's okay, though. She came out on social media and just said,
By the way, so last Monday on Raw, they advertised 3 matches. Doudrop versus Eva Marie, Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley, and Miz versus Morrison. We got one, and that one wasn't even officially a match because Doudrop attacked Eva Marie before the bell.
Yeah, I can see that.
We didn't. The Miz was not at Raw for whatever reason.
Exactly.
We don't know. So they had to pivot on Morrison. The Sheamus and Bobby Lashley thing, though, Sheamus was there. Bobby Lashley was there. Why'd they decide to take Sheamus away from Bobby Lashley and put him in the triple threat with Drew and
I don't know,
Damian Priest?
But I'm okay with it.
It was a great match
because it was really good to see.
It was a great match,
and even the tag team match at the end was really entertaining. So I'm like, cards subject to change, and I know they
more like cards subject to Vince changing his mind.
I know, but these changes come at the last moment, but sometimes they hardly ever work. But this time I felt that they did.
Well, okay, let's not pretend this is a rare occurrence. This has been happening a lot lately. Now, we understand, look, I get COVID and all that, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's still real.
But there's a lot of this that has absolutely nothing to do with COVID. This has to do with, as I said, Vince deciding he wants to go a different direction at the last minute.
Yeah, but this one was really 2 out of the 3 people just weren't there.
2 out of 3 people? What are you talking about?
No Alexa Bliss, no Miz.
Okay, Alexa Bliss wasn't advertised. Well, what I'm saying is they had 3 matches advertised. They advertised them last Monday.
Yes.
And 2 of them didn't happen. The third one, it was a pre-bell beatdown by Doudrop, which I didn't really get, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I figured
and I like Piper Niven, but
yeah, I mean, it looked like the crowd's behind her.
So. Well, and honestly, hey, at least just means we didn't have to watch Eva Marie try to wrestle.
No, we did have to try. I still had to watch her try to take a couple of bumps. She still hadn't learned how to do that yet. I felt bad.
I think since she has re-debuted in WWE, I think I have seen her perform 5 actual wrestling moves. And this is going back to Hell in a Cell. So, anyway, whatever. Did you see the new NXT logo?
Yeah, I did.
it's funny. Look, wrestling fans, especially on Twitter, they're worse than old people.
They can't
Anything that is changed, they're gonna poo-poo it from the get-go. I don't really have a problem with the logo. In fact, I'll be honest, I get a feeling the logo might be the least of our worries, but hey, we'll see. It's interesting, multicolor. I get it.
I think they were just kind of like, hey, AEW uses like the multicolored backdrop for a lot of their things. So it's like, are you just trying to copy them? And I'm like, professional wrestling is one of those things where something's hot. They kind of try to like mimic it to their best of the ability, NWO DX,
I suppose.
But I mean, I don't think anybody really owns like the multicolor scheme.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I seriously doubt this has anything to do with has anything to do with being trying to copy WWE. No, this has nothing or AEW.
But you saw their new training class that just arrived.
I was just about to say yes. So we've got
it's Gabe Stevenson's brother.
That's one of them.
And then you have Bull Buchanan's kid.
Right. And you've got the Usos' younger brother.
Yeah, the other Fatu.
So you've got and I'm trying to find
they have that woman, the one that's like CrossFit. I mean, she looks great.
Yeah. So so this is on WWE.com. They have 6 new members of the WWE Performance Center. Of this, and we've heard the rumor innuendo about how they've decided they're not looking at indie wrestlers anymore. They want 6'4", 250. They in fact I think I saw something about they don't even want indie wrestlers because they want to get somebody that doesn't have wrestling experience so they can mold them in their image.
Well, their sports entertainment style of professional wrestling. Yeah.
So, and you look at this, you have Ben Buchanan, who was, like I said, the son, as you mentioned, the son of Bull Buchanan, former Alabama State High School wrestling champion. You have Joseph Fatu, who is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso, the son of Rikishi. He's been wrestling for a couple of years. You have one other, Joshua Dawkins. Went through the Team 3D Academy. The nephew of...
Gerald Dawkins.
That's right. The NBA legend, Daryl Dawkins. So then you have... you mentioned the CrossFit athlete, Jessica Woynilko, 21-year-old gymnast, bodybuilder, CrossFit athlete from Prior Lake, Minnesota.
Oh, man, you guys see her picture still on Instagram. I'm telling you,
she's cute.
She is put together, though. Don't get me wrong, great-looking person in general.
Yeah.
But like body-wise, she definitely has the WWE look.
You got Bobby Steveson, who is the brother of Gable Steveson, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. Brady Booker played middle linebacker at South Dakota. And let's see, and that's it.
Yeah, so basically fulfilled what they have been saying, that they're going to try to go back to getting just bigger people, big size people to learn how to wrestle.
That's what we'll see coming up with this next Performance Center class.
A whole bunch of Baron Corbins.
Yes. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we got a few more notes from the world of professional wrestling. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening to The Horn. All right.
Ooh, is she going to get her title shot chance now?
Okay.
Hey, good. She's
Amber
back.
Moon. Happy birthday, Amber Moon. It's her birthday today. And happy birthday, Mickey James, our dear
that's
friend.
right. It's her birthday, too.
Yes. So.
Am I the only one that's sad that Baron Corbin's not a hobo anymore?
I saw something. I'm a little sad, too.
I like Bad Luck Baron Corbin. I was really enjoying that character. I felt like he could have gone further with that until they drove it into the ground further, and then we could have switched it up.
And I saw something that said they're not going to have him as happy. They may almost like an up and down type of thing. I don't know.
Just like their booking.
I kind of hope
I'm
so.
down with that. I'm down with that.
So
I
hope so. Yeah,
because it would be great that he gets like this, this fake sense of security, and then all of a sudden it's just the rug is pulled out from underneath him again.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I like the Baron Corbin though. I like Happy Corbin on. It's interesting. I do want to see maybe him going through a few more trials and tribulations, but yeah. So, we didn't get to Bianca, but they looks like they are going to give her the rematch after all. So hey, at least they're doing her better than they did Kofi. We'll see what happens.
Well, she's still, I hate using this word again, a hot commodity for them. Like she's the next big star.
She is,
so,
and which is why I thought they shouldn't have taken the title off of her, at least right now.
Well, the one caveat that did come out of that is that now she's going to be programmed with Becky. So it's like, okay, so you have your most over women's star working with the future.
Yeah.
You kind of have that CM Punk Darby Allin feeling, but this, like, to me, on a higher level, just because, hey, there's a championship involved, and you already know that she's already been penciled in for the next big thing.
Right. Well, and the problem I have is they're trying to book Becky as a heel. Problem is, the crowd's not going to boo her.
If she's got, but Becky's good. Like
we've seen them try it once already. They try to make her a heel, it wasn't taken.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, apparently they want to do Keith. They want to make Keith Lee a heel.
I can see that working too. You just don't want to boo him.
No, I'm not going to boo him. No, okay, I know I'm not going to boo Keith. I love Keith. I've seen, he worked heel with Shane Taylor in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
As Pretty Boy Killers. Them and War Machine.
I like arrogant Keith Lee.
I don't know.
He's smarter than you, and we know it. It's okay.
Oh, he is incredibly intelligent. Yeah. I know. He'll find a way.
But than most people. So
he's great, but just I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I don't know why they don't just steer into his strengths. Let him be him. He's a star like that.
I just don't think.
And that's where I get so frustrated with WWE. In that they will take someone that is a ready-made star and want to completely change them, thinking, well, they're going to make him their star. And
I think you could say
it has not worked abundantly more than it has worked.
I think you could say that almost about any job you go to, though. You have bosses that just don't see your strengths, and they put you in situations where you're not used at your best, but you're functional, And then at that point, you just decide whether you can adapt to their style and get better at it, or you just kind of work against it and you just kind of tread water.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with that. That's just real life for a lot of people. And it's no different for the wrestlers in WWE. We know it's not an easy track because they want you to be able to play a character.
And this kind of goes down to that whole, WWE's not pro wrestling anymore. They're performance art or whatever.
They've been character heavy since the 80s. So
they don't. Yeah, I
evil
don't know.
Clowns. There was a guy named Tugboat.
Yes,
Big Boss Man.
Well,
Duke the Jump Drosty.
Who's this? Screwball. What do they call him?
Schwartz.
Yeah, Knuckleball Schwartz. Yeah.
Which
was
the Brooklyn Brawler.
Steve Lombardi.
Yeah.
Painted up like a baseball.
Yeah.
So
that was during the strike year.
Yeah. All right, let's do this last segment, and let's see. We go there, and there. We'll talk some Dark Side of the Ring too. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. Diamond Dallas Page. Let's see. Well, yeah, he is going to be in this the second half of the third season of Dark Side of the Ring is coming up. He will be involved with it. Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on Vice. It will start September 16th, the plane ride from hell. That should be interesting.
Slightly interested.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've already heard everything that could be possibly told from everybody.
I've
so
heard
far.
pieces, so I'm kind of interested. The episode that DDP will likely be involved with a lot is the following week on September 23rd, The Double Life of Chris Kanyon.
Definitely interested in that one because I was always a big fan of his work.
Yeah.
I mean, they called him the innovator of offense for a reason. He was so good.
He was so good. They're going to look at FMW, Onita's FMW, which gave way to the exploding barbed wire death matches. Looking at Johnny K9, they look at Luna Vachon, XPW, and then the steroid trials. Just in time for the who is it that's doing the WWE and AE are going to do a documentary on Vince? during
the steroid trials.
Yes, so we'll get the WWE version, and then we'll get what many will consider the real version from Jason and Evan on October 28th. Dark Side of the Ring, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on Vice. They're calling it Season 3B. Starts September 16th. By the way, in case you hadn't noticed, I didn't do this week in independent wrestling because I couldn't find anything happening this weekend.
It happens.
Probably Labor Day weekend.
That
So,
too.
hey, have fun. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
Enjoy the last bit of summer.
A couple of notes from NWA 73, NWA's big pay-per-view event that happened this weekend and the Empower event. First of all, during Empower, Awesome Kong announced her retirement.
Yeah, that was really,
She's had a hell of a career.
Yeah, you have to go back and watch her TNA run where
Yes.
she was just a monster. And then you really understand why this was such like a big moment for a lot of people and why she wanted to end this with Gail Kim next to her.
Absolutely, with Gail Kim. I got to visit with her a couple years ago at AEW when she was still signed with them, and just as wonderful of a person as you can imagine. She really wanted to tell me about her dog. Was it Fats or something like that? Her dog's name. Cute dog.
Well, I do live in Austin, so a lot of people want to tell me about their dogs.
But yeah, it was so wonderful. We were standing backstage, and she was telling me about her dog, and just really enjoying that. So, congratulations to Awesome Kong. Just hell of a talent and even better person. And then ending, I think, over 1,000-day reign.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Murdoch defeating the national treasure, Nick Aldis. Trevor Murdoch, your new NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Well, I think the story is that he was trained by Harley Race.
Yes.
And obviously being at the Chase. And, man, they really went all out for this. Empowered was a great pay-per-view show, and this was really awesome. The introduction by John Goodman for the video.
Ric Flair was there.
Oh, his promo was still like, yeah, it just felt real. Like, it took you
He was
back.
home.
It had that. I mean, this whole NWA promotion is built around nostalgia,
Yes.
and those two shows, even though the whole women's wrestling tag champs is a brand new thing.
Yes.
Tag champs, like first time in like almost 100 years.
I think so, something like that, yeah.
And then, first ever all women's pay-per-view show. I mean, they really hit it out of the park. And then,
They did.
they really, really hit the nostalgia perfectly for the next night on NWA 73.
Did you hear? So Ric Flair, when he got to the event, he asked Billy Corgan, what do you want me to say? Hear Billy Corgan's response, you're Ric Flair, you say whatever you want.
Yeah.
and Rick made mention of that. He felt just, absolutely relieved at that. So
I mean, I think we're all better for it.
yeah, congratulations to the NWA, to Billy Corgan, and everybody involved. Tim Storm, our good friend. Just a hell of a weekend. New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're coming to Texas in about 4 weeks, September 25th, 26th. They'll be at the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland. They've got 4 matches already announced. Night 1, September 25th, you'll see Carl Fredericks against the uncrowned IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay. You'll also see Fred Rosser against Minoru Suzuki.
It still amazes me that Suzuki's still going at it.
And then night 2, Team Filthy Tom Lawler, Royce Isaacs, takes on Suzuki Gun Reunion in Minoru Suzuki in Lance Archer.
Oh, that's badass.
Good God. That's just going to be... the other...
People are going to be hurt.
The people are going to get hurt. And the other match, night 2, that they've announced so far, Lio Rush taking on Taiji Ishimori.
Oh, wow.
That'll be a hell of a match. There are going to be more matches. I'll be there. New Japan's been kind enough to grant me a credential, so I will be in Garland that weekend.
Yes, that's awesome.
So that should be a hell of a weekend enjoying New Japan Pro Wrestling up in the Metroplex. And that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTWATX. Oh, by the way, that's our Twitch handle. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We live stream on YouTube Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central, and on Twitch as well. You can catch us Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys, the Horn 104.9 and 101.9 FM and AM 1260. Or you can catch us anytime on demand by going to hornfm.com and then click on the On Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. Make sure you rate and review us while you're there. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much for giving us part of your time tonight. Have a great Labor Day weekend. We will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
And there we go. Didn't even mention football. We got football this weekend. High school and college.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't...
So who you call? Who you? It's not Bishop Sycamore, is it?
Nah.
Did you see that story?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good
no.
God, that's
mean,
just awful.
I just thought it was funny because it's like, I deal with that all the time.
I imagine.
And it's just all like...
And I think they're signed with Flow Sports, allegedly. They had a game scheduled against Duncanville.
I know.
And Duncanville said, "No, we're not playing you.
Yeah.
We can't even tell if you're real."
Nobody can.
So, yeah, that's awful.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
So who you calling this week, or do you know?
No, I got Southwestern tomorrow night.
Southwestern.
That's why I told you I was doing the Lex Luger. I'm like in 2 places at once.
Southwestern, the Fighting Adam Winklers. Let's see. We got Lake Travis and Converse Judson Friday night at Cavalier Stadium, 7:30 p.m. on 104.9 FM. You got the Longhorns and Louisiana opening the season. Lake Travis Cavalier great Hudson Card gets the start at quarterback. And that's at 3:30 p.m. Central.
Man, that's
Hear it all across the Austin Radio Network.
Y'all.
Pre-game starting at 11:30 a.m. I think it's still Chad and Bucky from Beeville Boulevard, and then Aaron and Rod from Schultz's. I don't know. Anyway, the game starts at 3:30. You can hear it.
I was gonna say yeah, because I think they both have the Bud Light contract.
Yes. So yeah. And then next weekend, it's NFL action. Roddy Strong and
that's what I'm waiting
Ike
for.
Manjuro. And Roddy Strong beat him up.
No,
So.
I'm ready for the Cowboys to start playing.
Yeah, I am too. Want to see if Dak truly is ready. I still think it's a mistake to keep Cooper Rush. He was god-awful as backup last year. I think DiNucci or Gilbert would have been better. I'm going to lean Gilbert, but, that's for the personal connection. So, yeah. What else did we miss? Oh, that was it. We got them all. Awesome.
Yeah, the only thing I would tell you is that you need to watch OSW Review.
Still need to watch one of those one of these days.
Yeah, they just came out with episode 101. They're getting into the Ultimate Warrior WCW story arc.
Ooh.
That
was bad.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
that was bad.
I think after watching that, because it's like, oh man, I've always had a lot of the same thoughts that these guys have had about all the old wrestling that I've seen, and then I'm like, oh, it totally, what I see now, it makes even more sense. You know, why we see it. So I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm not the only one that noticed it.
Nowadays, I mean, now we realize that was purely a Hogan pulling the creative control card and wanting to get one over. So
that almost makes it more intriguing, doesn't it?
No, not really. So yeah, I'm wondering what NXT. I mean, all we know now is the logo. We know the logo. That's all we know, though.
Yeah, but
we don't know what else is going to happen. Like, who else? Like, who from the roster they're keeping? Are they cutting more people?
They're gonna cut everybody.
They're cutting everybody. They're cleaning house.
Yeah, it's gonna be a true.
They're gonna sign Chucky. We got a promo USA USA Network. So,
but I was gonna say they can easily
Chucky.
just toss, Ciampa, Gargano, all those guys to the side. I mean, they've been there for a long time too, so it makes sense.
There was a thing. Ciampa made mention of he wants to stay in NXT, and it has nothing to do with the booking. It has to do with the travel. He doesn't want to travel.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's kind of like Walter not wanting to move to the U.S. He don't want to move out of Europe. So, I mean that's the choice. That's going to be the choice. They like Adam Cole. They got to make the choice. We'll see what Adam Cole's choice is. It's widely felt that Adam Cole is not coming back to WWE.
But wouldn't it be?
He is signing somewhere else. We don't know where.
Wouldn't it be amazing if he shows up on Raw though? Because they desperately need something to happen on Raw.
Yeah, apparently NBC Universal's pissed.
Yeah, that SmackDown got all the good stuff.
Yeah. And
we mentioned it before.
And apparently WWE said something to the effect, well, we got the draft coming. We'll give you something. It's like, no, dude, you don't understand though. You've put all your eggs on Fox. That was the other thing I was going to mention. No Brock Lesnar on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's fine.
You didn't have. Well, look, I get he's an attraction. You want to save him. You only got limited dates, but don't you think you should have had something to follow up from SummerSlam? Have him show up last week and then not show up until whenever.
Oh, I mean, it would have been nice, but we know it's Brock Lesnar, so I get it.
I don't know. It felt missing. It felt kind of hollow.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. It would have made more sense for there to be a follow-up of some sort. But
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's Brock Lesnar.
Now, right now, it feels
expected.
It just feels hollow. It feels like, all right.
So
you're going back to the Roman Reigns. He's going to go through the roster.
I mean, I definitely do want to
start
see
with Finn Balor.
I definitely want to see the match, though. So.
Well, I want to see the match, but again, give me something. Even if it's him coming out at the end of SmackDown and do another face-off.
Well, I might see it at the Finn Balor match.
Which, is supposed to happen, I think, this week.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how Face Brock is going to work. And I think they're trying to figure out how Face Brock is going to work, too.
Well, because WWE doesn't book faces because they hate baby faces. They want everybody to be heels.
Everybody wants to be a heel.
Which, I've been saying that for months. WWE can't book baby faces.
It's hard to be a baby face.
It's not that hard.
You can't just smile and go, clap for me, ho. It doesn't work like that no more. Like people have to take
But then they want the yes, I know Becky said she wanted to be in heel, but damn girl, everybody's cheering for you.
But see,
just steer into it.
Well, the thing
they're
is,
not going to boo you. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. They tried to turn him heel at least 2 times. It didn't work. Look at the Road Warriors. That's one of the best history lessons. Remember when they tried to take Dusty's eye out?
Yeah.
And they still didn't boo him. You're not going to boo him. They're not going to boo Becky. So why force it? It's the opposite of them trying to force everybody to cheer Roman Reigns. They wanted to boo him, but now they got 2 people that everybody wants to cheer. 3, if you believe the rumors about Keith Lee, and you're trying to get them to boo him.
I don't think people are as strong on Keith Lee as you are because you know him personally. So they can easily boo
I'm
him.
not the only one that's strong with him. I know a lot of people that I'm not. I mean, yes, I am. Yes,
But I think you're saying that because, but I mean, like
You're
he doesn't have that type of clout with the regular going Raw WWE viewers, so they can boo him depending on however they decide to take his character.
But I think it would be easier to cheer him just because of what he does. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a schlep with a microphone, so.
He needs to have another big guy that he can match up with that can basically catch him.
Well, apparently they want him as a monster heel.
Which makes sense.
Monster big man heel. No, it doesn't.
Why not? He's a huge guy.
You can't have him as a babyface. You can't have him as the same guy we saw everywhere outside of Raw, like NXT, for example.
Different crowds.
And it's, again, that's where I have a problem with them. But hey, again, WWE's not wrestling, so why should I care?
I mean, no
Women's Tag Team Championship next week. Zoe Stark, Io Shirai taking on Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. Well, Catanzaro's at least getting some TV time. That's good. Did you see? God, they still got Karrion Kross as the Gimp.
Oh well, yeah.
Raw.
But, I mean,
Good God, that's awful.
I mean, at least the look stands out.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make it work. It's kind of like the rite of passage on the WWE main roster. It's like we're going to give you something
See, that's
silly.
the dumbest. That's the dumbest thing. Again, this is where old man Vince needs to just step aside.
But I get it though. I understand where. I mean,
you don't see other promoters doing that.
You don't see other promoters trying to build a star for 10 years.
Well, guess what? Karrion Kross looking like that is not going to be a star for 10 years.
Yeah,
Nobody takes him seriously anymore.
I understand that, but at the same token, it's like this is all character development.
Well, look, I get it. It's the whole marketability. They want to make like action figures
Not
and
just
all this
that,
crap.
though, but how much of the whole presentation of Karrion Kross was Scarlett? Let's be honest.
It was quite a bit.
Okay, that's all that.
Why aren't you bringing Scarlett back?
So basically, what you're saying is that Scarlett's the real star here, not Karrion Kross.
She's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah, I think that was.
And yet they haven't. She's like disappeared.
Well,
for all we know.
Maybe they have bigger ambitions for her than they ever had for Cross. Again, it goes back to the whole Mark Marrow Sable thing. I think they remember what happened last time, where he was supposed to be the next big. He was the first guy to get a guaranteed contract in WWE from WCW when he transferred over.
Yeah,
and it was his wife who ended up getting to become the big star.
I know. I just like.
So if Karrion Kross isn't the big star on his own, then let's admit then it was Scarlett.
And maybe this, as sad as it's going to be, this will be the one thing about NXT once it changes. Maybe we won't be screaming about how they ruin someone that is being moved from NXT to Raw or SmackDown. Because you look at the people that have come up from NXT to Raw or SmackDown. Damian Priest, they've done a pretty good job with. I can't think of anybody else. Everybody else has been, at best, meh.
It's easy to say, man. Seth Rollins.
I'm talking recent.
He was an NXT champion.
I'm talking recent. I'm not talking about the old days. Seth Rollins was the old days.
Oh, they brought back Finn Balor.
He's
looking good. He's in the main event picture. He's going to be
but
in
he started on the main roster, right? No, he was on the NXT.
No, he started at NXT, went to the main roster,
went
the
back to
championship.
then went back to NXT, and now he's back on the main roster.
Yeah.
But I don't count him either because he's been on the main roster before. So no, I'm talking like give me in the last. I'll even go as far as 2 years.
I know.
No,
'cause
3 years.
Because
Go 3 years. Let's go 3 years. 2018. Since 2018, name one other NXT star that has moved up to the main roster and has kept their star power or even gotten better.
Almost.
Almost wasn't in NXT.
That's the only person that I can think of that's on the up and up.
But he wasn't in NXT.
I know he wasn't.
He was in the PC. And he spent time as Shane's bodyguard for Raw Underground.
That's what they got to bring
Other
back.
than that,
Raw Underground.
they haven't done squat. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of the NXT talents don't want to move up because of creative. Ciampa's not one of them, but there's definitely quite a few that don't. So, like I said, it's just weird. So, all right, we got to get out of here. It's late. I got to edit this stuff. I got a pain pill to take so my back doesn't hurt. Thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back next week. Same time. Tomorrow night we are airing at 10 o'clock because, let me think, Soccer Matters 1 week only is being moved to Wednesday. So it'll be, let me think. I think it's IHS Fan, then or Under the Lights, then Soccer Matters, then Fight Night, then us. So we're on at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Just watch the YouTube show, and you can get the podcast or tell your friends. And then back at 9 o'clock going forward, at least for now. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thanks a lot for joining us. As I said, have a great week. Have a great Labor Day weekend.